This podcast is part of the Deluxe Edition Network. To find other great shows on the network, head over to deluxeeditionnetwork.com. That's deluxeeditionnetwork.com.
Hey everybody, welcome to Films and Fermentation, episode 163. We hope you were with us last week for our look at the career of James Cameron. Tonight we got a much different topic on hand, one that we've never done before, but we're hoping turns into a recurring segment because of how much fun we had putting the list together for this. Episode 163 is going to be great actors in terrible movies. For the sake of publication, I couldn't put great actors in shitty movies like I wanted to, so we have to go with that. That's right. We are Films and Fermentation, a movie and alcohol podcast. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
We're three friends who like to talk shit about movies while getting shit-faced. As I said in this episode, we're exploring a strange phenomenon: great actors in truly terrible movies. It's like finding a gourmet. It's like finding a gourmet chef in a fast food restaurant. It's confusing but fascinating. We're talking Oscar winners slumming it in B movies that leave us scratching our heads. Grab your popcorn and prepare for some serious head shaking as we discuss the talented stars who took a wrong turn on the road to cinematic greatness. Don't forget to drop us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit linktree.com/filmsandfermentation to find all of our social media and podcast links. Become part of the Films and Fermentation family. We are part of the Deluxe Edition Network at deluxeeditionnetwork.com. The Den. Don't forget, there's still voting available for the DENNY'S that's coming up in a couple of weeks. We are up for multiple awards. Also, make sure you check out the podcast of the month for the month of August, the Red Horse podcast, Horsin Around. Host Joel Sharp, producer Jared Pacone, and the boys from the Red Horse Hair Studio, Shane, Cisco, Sean, and Guapo. Through nonsensical banter from the cutting room floor, deliver it in a hilarious, no-holds-barred podcast. Conspiracies and monsters to ghosts and surreal true life. Your squishy brains will be filled with awesomeness. Also, we are in the process of selecting a new theme song for our show. We think it's time we switch it up a little bit. So Kevin had the wonderful idea of putting our theme songs at the end of the show. So each of the next few episodes, we will premiere one of our new theme song ideas, and you, the listener, can help us vote on which one will be our new theme song. You can do that by sending us an email or sending us a message on one of our socials. We'll also be posting a survey online at some point as well, but help us pick out our new theme song. I have a new documentary alert for you guys. I saw a trailer. There's a link on the document if you want to check out the trailer yourself, but it is rare when a trailer makes me cry. But this trailer had me in tears. It's called Super/Man.
Oh, I saw this.
Christopher Reeve story. It is a documentary about Christopher Reeves, his rise as Superman, and his later struggles after he's paralyzed in a freak horse riding accident, and details the last few years of his life. And man, the trailer had me emotional. I can't wait to see the film. It comes out in September, sometime in mid-September. It'll be entering theaters. That's one I definitely want to check out. So check out the trailer for Superman, the Christopher Reeves story. What are we drinking tonight, gentlemen? Who wants to go first? Whoever wants to go first, go for it.
I got it.
Okay.
I am drinking one of my Hefeweizen from Antietam Brewery. 5.3 alcohol by volume.
Nice. I am polishing off. Summer's coming to an end. It's time to clear out the cooler. It's time to reach into the back of the fridge, find what you got that screams summer. So I'm going to start with the Grove, a citrus shandy from Cape May Brewing, and I will finish it with Orange India Pale Ale, Crushing It, also from Cape May Brewing. The Grove is 4.5% alcohol by volume. The Crushing It is 8% alcohol by volume.
So I tried something new tonight. I wanted to do a themed drink, but I didn't know if it'd be easy to find a themed drink for good actors and bad movies.
Good alcohol and a bad drink?
Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about a good beer with a bad name or a bad beer with a good name, like something like that. But then I decided to heighten Mike's fear of AI by going on ChatGPT. And I asked ChatGPT this question. Make me a simple mixed drink titled The Great Actor, Bad Film. List ingredients and how to make it. And it gave me a very simple cocktail. It's bourbon, lime juice, and a little bit of Sprite. And I'm like, I could do that. I drink that most of the time anyway, just not with the lime juice. Fill it with glass, pour in the bourbon and lime juice, top it off with Sprite, give it a gentle stir. And this is the explanation it gave me for the mixed drink. The bourbon represents the great actor with its rich and robust flavor, while the Sprite's sweetness and the lime juice's tartness combine in a surprisingly refreshing mix. Much like sometimes how a bad film has some redeeming qualities, like a good actor. So that was AI making my mixed drink for me tonight. So, Mike, anything happened this week?
No.
Not what it looks like here.
This week in film history. In 1946, film noir The Killers premiered, directed by Robert Zemeckis, starring Burt Lancaster and Ava Gardner, based on a story by Ernest Hemingway.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check this one out. I have to add it to my list of old movies that I'm trying to get caught up on. Go for it.
And I'll just move on to the next one. In 1953, romantic comedy film Roman Holiday is released, starring Audrey Hepburn, Gregory Peck, and Eddie Albert. I know you've seen this one, Lee.
I've definitely seen this one because, as you know, I'm an Audrey Hepburn fan, so I've definitely seen this one. This is Audrey Hepburn's first movie role, her premiere movie, which she won the Academy Award for Best Actress for. So she's one of the few people to win an award for her first film.
I thought this movie had Fred Astaire and what's his name from White Christmas?
Bing Crosby.
Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, and that's not this movie.
That one is called Holiday Inn.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's Holiday Inn.
I knew it had Holiday.
It has Holiday in the title, but it's not this movie. No. What's your next one here, Mike?
1964, Walt Disney's musical film Mary Poppins, directed by Robert Stevenson, starring Julie Andrews and Dick Van Dyke. The songs by Richard and Robert Sherman, premieres at the Chinese Theater in Los Angeles, California, wins 5 Academy Awards.
Among those awards, Best Picture.
Mm-hmm.
What's that?
I was going to say, what's your favorite song from Mary Poppins?
Probably the Chimney Sweep song.
Oh, that Step in Time?
Chim chimney, chim chimney, chim chimney. Yeah, I like that one.
Okay.
It won Best Picture and Best Actress, Julie Andrews. Go ahead, Mike.
And
I'm sorry. Let me ask you, Mike. What's your favorite song? Is it Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
No, not at all. It's the Spoonful of Sugar.
Spoonful of sugar makes the medicine.
I took that to heart. Mm-hmm. Spoonful of Sugar. Maybe five
Mike,
or
what's
six.
your
King's
favorite?
Culture.
You have a favorite, Mike?
I do. It's a little offbeat because it actually brings that what the movie was about. I like the pigeons, the birds.
Feed the
It's about
birds, pop
saving
into
Mr. Banks.
Yeah.
What's your next one there, Mike?
In 2004, Hong Kong martial arts film Hero, starring Jet Li, opens in the U.S., becoming the first Chinese language film to open to #1 in the U.S. box office.
All right. I saw this in the theater, so I'm one of the people who contributed to it going #1. And the reason I think it went #1 in the box office is it was coming out on the heels of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, which was one of the first major like Chinese releases to go, hog wild in America. Hero is not as good as Crouching Tiger, but it is a beautiful movie to look at. Like every scene has a different like color scheme, and it's really really cool. So, next one.
In 2008, Slumdog Millionaire, based on the novel Q&A by Vickers Swamp, directed by Danny Boyle and starring Dev Patel, premieres at the Telluride Film Festival Best Picture 2009.
Yeah. I've seen this maybe once, possibly once with like a few scenes at a different time. I think it's a good movie. It's not something that I always feel the need to like pop in and watch again. Speaking of movies I saw once and never have to see again, what's your next one there, Mike?
God help me with the names on some of this one, though.
I can help you with this one.
2013.
I know it's like every impossible British actor's name you can have in a film.
Exactly. 2013, 12 Years a Slave, based on the memoirs of Salome Northrop, directed by Steve McQueen and starring.
All right, this is the guy that played the soldier guy in Serenity, the operative.
Chiwetel
Ejiofor.
Chiwetel.
I know who you're talking about. So he's in a lot of different movies since then.
Mm-hmm.
Michael Fassbender and director and Benedict Cumberbatch premieres at the Telluride Film Festival Best Picture 2014.
All right, you did a good job. It wasn't
all Marvel actors.
A lot of Marvel actors. So it also won for Best Supporting Actress for Lupita Nyong'o, who's also in Black Panther. She's a Marvel actress as well. And she is in a rare category because she also won an Oscar for her very first film role, which was this movie, 12 Years a Slave.
Wasn't Brad Pitt also in this movie?
Brad Pitt had a small role in it. He also produced the film. Yeah.
And he was in Deadpool 2.
Yeah. In another very small role. As the Vanisher, yes. And I was going to say in your last one, but then I scrolled down and saw that there's more. So what's your next one?
In 2014, Birdman, directed by Alejandro Gonzalez Iñárritu.
Iñárritu.
And starring Michael Keaton and Zach Galifianakis, premieres at the Venice Film Festival Best Picture 2015.
I know you
copy the Stone, right?
I was going to say I know you copy and paste this from another site, right?
I do.
It's funny to me that it said the film is starring Michael Keaton and Zach Galifianakis when the film also stars Ed Norton, Emma Stone, and Naomi Watts.
Yeah, it's a site called This Day in Film History that gives all sorts of histories. And
well, in 2015, Zach Galifianakis was hot shit right then.
Was he really? Because like the movie has 4 Oscar nominees in it, 1 Oscar, 2-time Oscar winner, and they gave us Zach Galifianakis,
and the host of Between Two Ferns.
Yeah, who's like 6th on the call sheet in this film. The movie won Best Picture, also won Best Director for Iñárritu. Michael Keaton. People thought he was going to win the Best Actor that year, and he ended up. I forgot who won it instead, but he did not get the Best Actor Oscar for this. It's one of Ed Norton's best roles too. He's amazing in this film. Next one.
God help me.
Would you like me to read this one for you?
Yeah, those names are gonna freaking kill
In
me.
2018, the film Roma, directed and written by Alfonso Cuarón, who was the best director at the 2019 Academy Awards, starring Yalitza Aparicio and Marina de Tavira, premieres at the Venice Film Festival.
Easy for you to say.
It also won
Exactly.
the Oscar for Best International Picture as well that year. I had a hard time watching this film. I tried watching it because it was like I was trying to like get caught up on Oscar films that year, and a lot of people praised it. A lot of people loved the film, but it was a little too slow for me, and I just couldn't get into it.
Just going back a step, it was Eddie Redmayne for The Theory of Everything in 2015.
Oh, for playing Stephen Hawking.
Yep.
You know what Stephen Hawking's final words were?
Change
I have it on my phone. It's the Windows theme song. I couldn't trying to imitate it. I'm going to help you real quick on the last one here, Mike. The director's name is Yorgos Lanthimos.
I gotta get the first name right. The 2018 film The Favorite, directed by Yorgos.
You trying to be French? It's the favorite.
That way.
It's spelled the British way because it's a British film.
Starring Olivia Colman, Best Actress, Academy Award 2019, Rachel Weisz, and Emma Stone, premieres at the Venice Film Festival.
Yorgos Lanthimos also directed the movie Poor Things because he really likes to stick Emma Stone in uncomfortable nude scenes. He has an uncomfortable nude scene in this film, multiple uncomfortable nude scenes in Poor Things. Yorgos Lanthimos. Olivia Colman was a surprise winner that year for Best Actress. She had been known as like a comedic actress before this. She's actually in Hot Fuzz. You have a must-try beer craft for us tonight, Mike?
I do. I'm a collector of names tonight. I have guava and mint hard kombucha from Giant Longmont, Colorado. Guava, mint, and green tea aren't often seen together, but this unusual combination works surprisingly well. The unmistakable aroma of fresh guava leads the way with the trailing floral honey note. Palate weight is very light and fluffy from the high carbonation, and the green tea adds a refined herbal note. Finish is very lightly tart. The dried mint flavor is very subtle in this 5% ABV brew, but complements the other flavors quite well. There is no aesthetic note. Hard to believe just how well this works. Highly recommended. I don't like green tea, so I'm not going to drink this. You guys can try it all you want.
Glad you recommended it then, sir.
I'm sorry. It's a must-try beer from the calendar.
All right. So this week we have part 3 in the new series, Beers in Space. Go ahead, Kev. Tell us about this next Beer in Space story.
Beer made with moon dust blends brewer and spacesuit maker skills. I'm going to move my microphone over for a second. Hold on. Since I am facing here, it would make sense for me to have the microphone closer. A beer brewed with moon dust might sound like a lunatic idea, but it's now a reality thanks to a Delaware brewery and the company behind NASA's Apollo spacesuits. Now on tap at Dogfish Head Brewing and Eats Restaurant in Delaware is Celeste Jewel Ale. That's CELEST JEWEL-ALE. So Celeste Jewel Ale. A traditional German Oktoberfest beer with one not so traditional ingredient, moon dust. What's more, each pint of the Harvest Moon inspired ale is available in spacesuit fabric wrapped glasses. Actually, kind of cool looking. Celestial Ale is made with lunar meteorites that have been crushed into dust, then steeped like tea in a rich multi-Oktoberfest at the Rehoboth Beach Eatery, wrote on its website. These certified moon jewels are made up primarily of minerals and salts, helping the yeast-induced fermentation process and lending this traditional German style a subtle but complex earthiness. Excuse me. Or is it the mooniness? The craft ale creators posed. Dogfish had created nearby ILC Dover, the contractor that created the spacesuits worn by the Apollo astronauts on the moon, to source the lunar meteorites for its brewing and provide the custom space-aged beer koozies. ILC, or the International Latex Corporation, perhaps best known by its consumer brand Playtex, recently became the focus of a feature film now in development by Warner Brother Pictures. The company was also recognized by the American Society of Mechanical Engineers for its creation of the Apollo A7L spacesuit, which was named a historic mechanical engineering landmark in September. Celestial Ale, which is a limited brew and only available on tap at the Dogfish Head restaurant, is described by its creators as having notes of doughy malt, toasted bread, subtle caramel, and a light herbal bitterness. Lunar meteorites are a relatively rare commodity, although they are legal to buy and sell and evidently drink. Had the brewery wanted to any of the lunar samples brought back by the Apollo astronauts, they would have been limited to trying to obtain and then scrape the lunar material off the few dust-stained artifacts saved by the space voyagers as souvenirs. NASA continues rocks collected. NASA considers. I can't read tonight, guys. NASA considers the rocks collected during mankind's first mission to the moon a national treasure, and has never given away even the smallest of pebbles to any individual, let alone a brewery. This does not mean, however, that Dogfish Head Ale isn't without a touch of NASA history. Oh gosh, this just keeps on going.
I'm like skimming through it as you're reading. I'm like, well, how did they get?
Yeah, they're really not. They're not going into how they're getting the moon dust.
It says it's not illegal to sell them, so to me, it almost sounds like you're getting them like through like non-NASA sanctioned channels.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
it sounds like they
has
made
anybody else been to the moon?
Dust.
What's that, Mike?
Who else has been to the moon?
Well, it's not. Yeah, and it's not like these are the people that made the suits. It's not NASA astronauts that are helping make the beer.
Right. So I'm like, who's been to the moon? So where they're getting the moon rock from to get the dust?
It says that from what I gleaned through it, there's like some of the people who've been to space bring back rocks as souvenirs. So they might not be turning everything into NASA and just like keeping some for themselves, maybe. Or is there really moon dust in these drinks anyway?
Exactly.
I think they scrape it out of the crotchular area of the space.
Yeah, the spacesuits.
Mm-hmm. So we're tasting a little bit of astronaut junk while we.
It's made from moon dust and boot rubber.
Anyway, that's about as much as I got, guys. If you're interested, head on down to Rehoboth, Delaware. Check out Dogfish Head Craft Brewing. See about getting one of these cool koozies and a Celestial Ale beer, which is apparently only on draft. Or don't, because this article is very old. This article is 11 years old, so they may be out of it by now. Call ahead, I guess, you know.
Go ahead, make sure they didn't run out of moon dust.
And a very brief little beer news report. I have to say that a semi truck carrying beer crashed on the Interstate 25 in northern Colorado. The driver of the truck was taken to the hospital, and it is seeming as if he may have had a little too much of what he was hauling. They believe he
How
may
much
be.
beer was
He may have
lost?
had a DUI.
Yeah, how much of the beer did they lose? Were they able to salvage any?
It was a tanker, and it
Oh
was
no,
outside. Yeah. So no,
a man should be prosecuted to the highest order.
that's right.
That is
All right.
alcohol abuse of
Yeah.
the high.
The highest. Yeah.
Ugh.
Brings a tear to my eye. All right, we're gonna take a brief break here and give you a little message from Coffee Brothers. We'll be right back.
I love a good beer, but right now I can use a good cup of coffee.
Have you heard about Coffee Brothers?
Oh yeah, they're that coffee company out of New York, right?
Well, they're more like a coffee wizards of New York City. They source these amazing seasonal blends and single origin coffees. It's like a flavor adventure in every cup. And get this, they roast everything in small batches. None of that mass-produced stuff. It's like each bean gets the VIB treatment.
VIB.
Very important bean.
Sounds fancy, but is it worth it?
Definitely. Plus, they're a two-person team. I mean, that's dedication right there. Two brothers, one mission to caffeinate the world. And right now, you can save 10% on your order. I mean, who doesn't love a good discount?
All right, you've convinced me. Let's get some Coffee Brothers now.
Coffee Brothers, where every cup is a sip of perfection. Save 10% on your next order with the code FNF10. That's FNF10. Cheers to great coffee. Hey, everybody. Thank you for sticking with us for the main segment here. Tonight, as I said, we are doing a different topic we haven't done before, but we're hoping if it goes well, it'll be a recurring topic for us. It is great actors in terrible films. Of course, terrible films is relative. What is one man's trash may be another man's treasure. I can say that because a couple people gave me Bruce Willis and Hudson Hawk on the social. I love Hudson Hawk. I'm a big fan of Hudson Hawk. I will defend that movie. I have some film clips that. Yeah. Swing on a star.
That was the musical Caper movie, right?
Yeah. With Danny Aiello and David Caruso in a non-speaking role.
Thank God.
Probably for the best.
Probably for the best. So we're going to name some actors and some terrible films they were in. I try to do one film for each actor, but some of them it's just too hard not to include some other shit that they were in. And then we're going to do some shout outs, but I have a little something to say about the shout outs when we get to that segment. And I have a quick clip for each of these actors for one of the films. If I have multiple films on here, I only pick one. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can follow the clip along. If you're listening to us on the audios, you can still hear what's happening in the scene. If you're familiar with the movie, you'll know what's going on. So the first one I threw up there is Robert De Niro, two-time Academy Award actor who is in such great films as Goodfellas, Godfather Part 2, The King of Comedy, Raging Bull, Silver Linings Playbook, The Irishman. I mean, a number of great movies. But unfortunately, Mr. De Niro was also in Rocky and Bullwinkle in 2000, Dirty Grandpa in 2016, and The War with Grandpa in 2020. Both those movies are not related. He just happened to play a grandpa in two different films. And I put etc. there because he has been in his decent share of shitty films as well. A lot of these had to do with the fact that in the 90s, he bought a lot of real estate in the Tribeca area of New York and tried to start a Tribeca Film Festival, similar to like the Sundance Festival that Redford started in Colorado. And it cost a lot of money. So he was doing a lot of like work for hire projects in the 90s and 2000s. So I have a little clip here of Rocky and Bullwinkle, and I'll see what you guys think of this after I show it. Cool.
Fearless leader. You're so happy you go.
Have you liquidated Moose and Square? Did you use the CTI?
Yes.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me? And who else are you talking to? Are you talking to me? Well, I'm the only one here. So you must be talking to me. And you are lying! Now catch moose and squirrel, and next time use the CDI on them.
Jesus Christ.
He was funneling his taxi driver.
Thank you. Yes, thank you for noticing that. I don't know what's worse, that he was in this film or that he did a spoof of the taxi driver monologue. It actually
taxi driver monologue.
It's insulting almost. It really hurt my soul watching that. Someone in the socials wrote, "Oh yeah, I love that. It's my favorite Scorsese film." The Rock. Oh my God. I asked the question: have either of you seen this?
Negative.
No. I did want to catch it when I thought it was another part of the boxing movies, but then when I realized it wasn't,
yes, it was Rocky. It wasn't Rocky v. Bullwinkle.
No, it was about Moose and Square.
Moose and Square.
Cartoons.
I am a major De Niro fan. I will defend him for a lot of films, but I did not see this one. I could not bring myself to see it. I was worried it would make me sad, and then having watched that clip, I am sad. That was terrible. I have not seen the other ones I have on the list here either. If a movie looks really bad, I'm just not watching it.
Look, when you're surrounded by such greatness like Jason Alexander and Janine Garofalo,
Rene Russo,
Randy Quaid, and Piper Parable. Carl Reiner was actually in it. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's a lot of actors in that film that should be embarrassed, but De Niro is definitely tops for the embarrassment list, I think. Playing, like fifth fiddle to an animated moose and squirrel. Listen, you know me, I watch a lot of bad movies. Some I really enjoy. But even I have a limit, and there's the limit with this movie. So, any final thoughts on De Niro and you have any other De Niro performances that you think were bad movies that he shouldn't have done? He had a little bit of a resurgence lately with The Irishman and Killers of the Flower Moon being nominated for both those films.
And there was a time around this time that he was branching into comedy that kind of worked for him, like Analyze This and Analyze That, and Little Fockers, you know.
Yeah, and it was only
that's it.
Yeah, it was only like 12 years before this he did Midnight Run. So he's like, yeah, he was starting to like throughout the late 80s and early like 90s and all, he was kind of tinkering with it a little bit, but this was sort of like the one he should have let go.
I'm going to go with it. This must have been a guilty pleasure of him. He grew up watching Rocky and Bullwinkle, and he had to jump on the chain to be in the movie.
He's a very method actor though too. You think he was like hunting a moose and squirrel to get in the character?
No, he did watch all the cartoons again.
to get down his fearless leader accent.
Exactly.
Did you catch moose and squirrel? So I'm going to move on to the next one on the list. I know this is a Kevin favorite. I got two clips for this one, Kev.
Oh,
I got what is possibly the best line reading of all time from the film. And I have the interview he did about the film many years later.
Nice.
So this is Michael Caine in Jaws 4, The Revenge. So let's watch the quick scene first. This is really funny.
Damn passengers, you're all the same. Complain. Oh, shit.
Greatest line reading ever, man. You complain. Oh, shit.
Was his name Hoagie?
Hogan. Or Hoagie.
Oh.
Yeah, Hoagie. His name was Hoagie.
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 Hoagie. Straight from Philly. Hoagie.
Hoagie. So this is an interview he did many, many decades later because he doesn't even remember the name of the film in the interview, which is great. About why he did the film.
When you bought her first house, what was that like for you?
Oh, that was incredible for me, for my mother to have a house. Because we lived in, well, we grew up in council houses, you know.
She was worried you couldn't afford it.
What I did is, one of the worst pictures I did was a picture, I think it was called Jaws 4.
The Revenge.
The Revenge, yeah. And I had a little part in that.
Damn thing's disappeared. He's gone.
And I was paid $1 million for 2 weeks' work. And with that money, I bought her the house. And someone said to me, I saw that Jaws 4. He said, it stinks. I said, I haven't seen it. I said, but I've seen the house it bought my mother, and it's marvelous.
I love how it was a slow motion scene too.
Yeah. Slow motion scene of Mario Van Peebles getting eaten by the shark. Yeah, it was.
My favorite part of that movie is where the shark puts the tracker on Chief Brody's wife as she flies down to Florida. He takes a connecting flight so that she doesn't see him.
That's right. Doesn't the shark track them from Maine down to Florida? Jaws for the Revenge is basically like the shark, the descendants of the shark from the first film somehow psychically figure out how to follow the family. Oh my, it's so ridiculous, that film, but I love it.
Shark flies into Fort Lauderdale, whereas the other, she flew into Miami, and he had to wear a little mustache and sunglasses to
see, like,
land shark.
The best part of that is that Michael Caine has no reservations about it. This is why I did the film. I used the money to buy my mother a house.
It's like that interview reminds me of Gwyneth Paltrow when she couldn't remember that she was actually in one of the Spider-Man movies.
Yeah, she was in. She didn't realize she was in. I think it was the first or second one. She didn't realize she was in it. Yeah. He's like, I was in this movie. I think it was called Jaws. Ooh. The Revenge. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love like when they showed the picture of him as a kid sitting next to his mother, and I love how young, like 20s version Michael Caine looks like his character from Austin Powers 3.
He's reading a paper, and his mother's just sitting there like, "Oh my god, get people out of my house."
The next one is another legendary bad movie with a good actor in it. You got Academy Award winner Halle Berry. Movie also stars Sharon Stone. That movie is 2004's Catwoman, which has nothing to do with the Catwoman that we know from the Batman.
Well, can you put in this one any major star in a DC movie?
Probably. Yeah, we just make that a category in and of itself. But I did pick what I think is the best scene from the Catwoman movie, and that is the final 40 seconds of the film.
You see, sometimes I'm good. Oh, I'm very good. But sometimes I'm bad. But only as bad as I want to be. Freedom is power. To live a life untamed and unafraid is the gift that I've been given. And so, my journey begins.
I love how they set it up like there was going to be a sequel. Journey begins.
She was much better at Storm.
Oh my god, one of the worst CGI moments I've seen in a film.
Oh,
swinging around on the pole. Just an incredibly bad movie.
Halle Berry became one of only 6 actors in history, only 5 at the time, to possess both an Oscar and a Razzie after her win for the infamous performance in this movie. She also became the first to accept the Razzie in person, walking out onto the stage, proudly holding both Oscar and Razzie aloft and feigning tears of joy. She gave a short acceptance speech. I'd like to thank Warner Brothers for making me do this god-awful piece of shit movie.
Sandra Bullock is the other actress to accept both the Oscar and Razzie in the same weekend. The next one I have on my list, this is special. Al Pacino, who was one of America's greatest living actors in the 70s and 80s before becoming a caricature of himself in the 90s. Then going on to do a series of really bad choices in the 2000s. First of which is Geely in 2003, which was a bad choice for a lot of people. But even worse, I think, is this little Adam Sandler film from 2011, Jack and Jill, in which Adam Sandler plays Jack and his twin sister Jill.
Again, most Adam Sandler movies are mistakes to go.
You're not a big Adam Sandler film fan, I know. I actually enjoy some of his movies. This one is particularly hard to watch. And if you're like me, you're going to be just as embarrassed by the scene I'm about to show you as I was by De Niro in Rocky and Bullwinkle. Here is Al Pacino in Jack and Jill.
Something's brewing at D&D.
Wow! Al Pacino!
It's not Al anymore. It's Dunk.
Dunkachino?
Don't mind if I do.
What's my name?
Dunkachino!
It's a whole new game.
Dunkachino!
You want creamy goodness? I'm your friend. Say hello to my chocolate blend. Attica, hoo-ah, lottie light. This whole trial is out of sight. They pull me back in with hazelnut too. Caramel swirl, I know it was you. Everyone wants my Dunkachino. Can't get enough of my Dunkachino. Kids from 7 to 17 lining up for my Dunkachino. What's my name?
Dunkachino!
Dunkachino!
The Academy should have taken his Oscar away from him.
One of the 5 families to have taken a hit out on him after that. Damn it.
He essentially just did an SNL skit. That's all.
Yeah, it was like an SNL skit. But I also just noticed, and I've watched this not the movie, but this scene. I've watched a couple times as I was like getting things ready for the show. And it wasn't until watching it with you guys just now that I realized he quoted 3 of his own movies in that song.
He did.
He said "hoo-ah" at one point. He said, "I know it was you," which is from The Godfather. And, I don't remember what the third one was.
Say hello to my...
Yeah, he starts saying hello to my little friend when he opens up the jacket. He says, "Say hello to my chocolate blend." I was like, oh, God almighty. Al, what are you doing? He made a little bit of a resurgence with The Irishman too, but like still, that was embarrassing. He himself has stated that he's kind of embarrassed by it too, but makes me think to myself, why'd you do it in the first place?
The other movie I thought he'd work out well in. I mean, I love Kevin Smith, so I really thought that he'd work out with Geely.
Geely wasn't Kevin Smith.
Yeah, it was.
Kevin Smith, the Jersey Girl. That's the other bad one that Ben Affleck was in.
Oh, okay.
Geely, I think, was Geely was like a director that I'm kind of a fan of and surprised that he did this film.
Martin Brest
did Midnight Run. You know what else Martin Brest did, Mike? Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2. And then he did
Geely. And he did Scent of a Woman.
Yeah, he did Scent of a Woman.
That's what I got Pacino to sign on.
Mm-hmm. And then and then he did Geely, and I think it's the last movie he ever did.
Well, it should be.
I think he retired from directing.
Jennifer Lopez doesn't die within the first 5 minutes of this movie?
No, she dies in the first 5 minutes of Jersey Girl.
Oh, okay.
Thank God. That makes Jersey Girl a better movie.
They advertised it with her in it, and then she dies in the first 5 minutes, and it becomes a love story film between Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler instead. The next one, we were talking about this earlier. We were talking about actors who did bad things, terrible acting gigs before becoming super famous. This actor we talked about in the pre-show was in Facts of Life. He was in Roseanne. He was in ER. He was a TV star before becoming a mainstream movie star. And that is George Clooney, who, aside from what I think is one of his worst films, Batman and Robin, not many people know this. His very first film role was in the sequel to Attack of the Killer Tomatoes, Return of the Killer Tomatoes. Here is superstar and future Academy Award winner George Clooney.
All right. Let's find a way to get out of here, huh? Okay. What's that noise? Mice? Big mouse.
Oh no, it's horrible creatures! It's giant zucchini and man-eating artichokes!
Shut up! I'll handle this, all right? Yo, zucchini.
Yo, zucchini.
He was basically his Facts of Life character in a movie.
Yeah.
That looked like a screen.
Thank God
test.
he went out after that.
Like a casting couch kind of.
What'd you say, Kev?
I said that looked like a screen test, like a casting couch kind of thing.
Yeah,
somebody
like
off screen is shaking something, and the two actors are doing the scene.
It felt like he didn't want to be there, and rightfully so.
Yo, zucchini.
Hey, sometimes you got to do what you got to do to make it in Hollywood, you know.
Yeah.
I don't have a clip from.
Dawn, so.
Yeah, Dust Till Dawn's another one I can't stand either. But I don't have a clip of Batman and Robin, unfortunately.
I think he could have done Batman well. I think it's just he had to do the Schumacher Batman.
Yes.
Which was just so bad.
He does return in The Flash in a cameo as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, I'm getting horrible.
Either of you guys see the next movie?
I think I've seen part of it.
The Dark Tower from 2017.
No, but I heard this was supposed to be good. They were really hoping that it would be good. It was supposed to be more true to the story.
Well, as per like Hollywood usual, The Dark Tower is 8 novels, and they tried to cram a majority of them into one film. So it became sort of like a muddled mess. A lot of plot holes, a lot of like elements that were missing from the books. I've read the books. I love the books. It's one of Stephen King's best works, the Dark Tower series. Stars Matthew McConaughey, who's coming off an Oscar win at this point, and Idris Elba, who is like coming into his own as like a popular actor in America. And yeah, it was supposed to be, a Hollywood hit, but it did not. It did not turn into that. It just was a mess. And I don't even know if I have a clip from it. Let me see here.
The war is over, old friend. Everyone you ever loved has died by my hand. No matter what you do, the tower will fall. Death always wins.
The Dark Tower.
Now,
all right.
In their defense, they both give it their all in the film. It's the film itself that falls apart. It's not Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. It's one of those instances where, like, it's not their fault. It's it's the script, it's the studio, it's the other shit involved in making a film. In retrospect, though, I probably could have taken this one off the list and added like a different one in there. Probably like a better choice I could have made. But it's one of the more recent ones I could think of.
It's still a bad movie with good actors in it. So.
It is still a bad movie with good actors. As is the next one. Another one I can't believe they got this man to do this. The great Sir Patrick Stewart of Star Trek The Next Generation fame and X-Men films and other things that are great, but not this film. No, in this film, he plays the poop emoji in the Emoji Movie from 2017. Yes, you heard that right. Sir Patrick Stewart is the poop emoji. Here's a clip.
Oh, meet poop.
It's showtime.
You are smooth.
Just doing my duty.
What? He's full of himself.
We're number two. We're number two.
The Emoji Movie.
These lights! I'm melting in here. This is such a loaded...
No, go ahead. Finish that sentence.
I'm on fire. Do you think Patrick Stewart knew what he was doing?
Yes.
Or did somebody just hand him a script and a bag full of money and say, just read this?
I think Seth MacFarlane probably talked to him and said, you do Family Guy, why not? You know?
Does American Dad as well.
Mm-hmm.
He was the narrator in the Ted films.
He also did voices in the Page Master and stuff like that. He's done voice acting before.
Yeah, but come on, man. The poop emoji. I'm Sir Patrick Stewart. I've been knighted by the Queen.
That's what makes it funny.
That a man knighted by the Queen plays a animated piece of shit.
Yes, that's what makes it funny.
Let's put it this way. Jordan Peele was offered the role of poop, but thought the idea was messed up. After thinking about it for a day, he asked his manager to ask what the job would pay, only to learn Patrick Stewart had been given the part. Peele decided to quit acting and concentrate on directing.
Patrick Stewart took the role from Jordan Peele.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jordan Peele made the better decision because the next year he won an Oscar for Get Out. He is an excellent writer of horror films.
Another fun fact, on the day of Queen Elizabeth II's funeral, Britain's Channel 5 aired this movie instead of live funeral coverage.
The nation is at mourning. Here's Sir Patrick Stewart as a pile of shit. Oh, God. Oh, England.
This next one's going to make me sad.
This next one. So somebody, I think I have it highlighted when we do the shout outs later, but somebody on one of the socials said, I would choose Ben Kingsley in about 89% of his films. Because he's done, aside from this film, like he was in, oh my God, he's done so many bad movies. I can't even name them all, but he's been in a million. But this one is particularly bad because it's sort of a satire on his Gandhi character that even for him is, so anyway, it's pretty racist. But this is Ben Kingsley in 2008, The Love Guru, the movie that essentially destroyed Mike Myers' career.
Guru Tagan Mapuda, you are so good with nunchucks, yet you are blind.
I am not blind. I am just severely cross-eyed. I know. It is weird. Be seated. Deepak, here you go. Maurice, you're not of Indian blood. Speak of your parents.
They are both dead. They were missionaries.
And what did they do before then?
They were dog stylists.
So, let me get this straight. They were into doggy style before the missionary position.
That scene goes on for another 2 minutes. I had to stop it there.
Oh, wow.
I like him better as Trevor.
Trevor Slattery? I like him better as Trevor Slattery as well.
Trevor makes more sense.
It makes me feel better about his role as Trevor Slattery, seeing him in a
It
little movie.
really does. Well, the second time he played Trevor made it better too. You know.
Yeah, yeah. And what was it? Shang-Chi. Yeah. Oh God. Should I just move on? I think I'm gonna move on. So,
yeah. I mean,
next one.
My heart hurts.
Yeah, as much as mine did watching De Niro and Rocky and Bullwinkle. So the next film again is an example of an actor just getting his start. So around the same time he got his role on Growing Pains, young Leonardo DiCaprio did this movie, Critters 3, in 1991.
This is before he was.
Don't go down there, kid. There's all kinds of wild animals and shit. Hey, who do you belong to? Who do you belong to? He almost went over the edge. There could be badgers. Go back, come on. Looks like you just bought me a tournament frisbee, dude. Come on, what are you guys standing guard? Let's go.
Back when his acting style was one form, and that was gentle irritation.
That clip was cut out of hell too.
Yeah, I thought there was two of them. I thought they was throwing the frisbee to himself.
Yeah, that was it was a clip I found on YouTube. It was just his scenes from Critters 3.
Oh.
So it was like jumping just to Leonardo scenes. Again, it's everybody's got to get their start.
Yeah.
It was not long after this that he did What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and that was the film that showed people he can actually act. And it's been all uphill from there.
Oh, I thought you were gonna put you would have put him in Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet's not that bad a film. I'm not a fan of it because I'm not a big fan of Baz Luhrmann, but it's not like an awful movie. If I was going to put him in an awful movie, one that he did it on Netflix a couple of years ago, Don't Look Up.
That's the one.
It is fucking horrible.
I like the movie though.
You like Don't Look Up?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, it was terrible. It was him, Jennifer Lawrence, Jonah Hill, Meryl Streep.
Yep.
Timothy Chalamet's in it. I mean, it's got a really good cast. Yeah, but I didn't. It just was too long, and there were too many plot elements could have been left out. I mean, the ending. I thought the ending was funny when they end up on a new planet and things go wrong. But it just was. I just did not enjoy it. Like I said, though, everybody has a different opinion.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of opinions, Kevin's opinion was our next one on the list. Daniel Craig and Lara Croft Tomb Raider.
Problem is that you can't be trusted. And that should not be acceptable to you.
I'm just trying to get by. Have a little fun.
I know what you are. If you cross me, we may not be able to remain friends.
I don't have a clip for this one because I just added it recently, but do you have something you'd like to say about it there, Kev?
He did an okay job for a shit movie.
Yeah, no kidding. Actually, I think he was the best part of that movie.
Yeah.
It wasn't Angelina Jolie.
What's
She
that?
looked the part, but she couldn't act the part.
I said it wasn't Angelina Jolie. She wasn't the best part of the film.
No. She looked like the Tomb Raider first edition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, he did okay. He was he wasn't the main big bad. He was kind of like the in between big bad. Like he likes her and wants to be with her, but he's already hired by the villains, and I don't know. Just I don't think this was his start, but I think this was like not his best work.
Mm-hmm. I don't know what his first film is, but this is definitely early in his career. This
Yeah,
is like before he does James Bond.
This is 2001, so yeah, he was.
Yeah, we could keep the Lara Croft theme going too, and say good actor, bad film is Alicia Vikander in the Lara Croft reboot. Like she's really good, and she really looks like the newer, like rendered version of Lara Croft, but the film itself is not great.
No.
I'm gonna have to put some. I'm gonna try to put some of these clips in later because we deserve clips for these next few choices here. We got Raul Julia in Street Fighter 1994.
You had him shot as you ran away. A hero. At 1,000 paces.
I'm sorry. I don't remember any of it.
You don't remember?
For you, the day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
For a great actor, it's sad that this was his final film before passing away.
Wasn't he playing off against Jean-Claude? So it should have been fine, right?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I don't know. Jean-Claude's such a classically trained actor. He plays M. Bison, the villain, and he got the joke. Like he knew what kind of movie he was in.
Yeah,
and he played over the top like nobody else could. Everybody else was taking the movie way too seriously. Maybe not Ming-Na Wen. She was pretty good as Chun-Li, but the rest of the cast was like way too serious, and Raul Julia was just eating lines alive in that film. I have to see the scene I'm going to try to find for this and clip in later is him talking to Ming-Na Wen, and she's talking about how she wants to get revenge because he destroyed her village and killed her family and all that stuff. And he says to her, "You remember me because the most important day in your life was the day I came to your village and razed it to the ground. But for me, it was Tuesday." It's brilliant. And the last one we have on our list here is,
my God,
a legendary Hollywood train wreck, which also includes other good actors like Val Kilmer, David Thewlis, and Fairuza Balk. But the number one culprit in this film is Marlon Brando in The Island of Dr. Moreau from 1996.
Mr. Douglas, first of all, for the sake of propriety, I'd like to present my children.
Hello, I am Wagti.
How do you do, sir? I'm Mrs. Ello.
My name is Maling.
You've already met my beautiful daughter, Aisa. Magi, would you present yourself, please? He means you no harm, Mr. Douglas. He's just trying to be polite. He just wants to shake your hand. Thank you.
This is the most outrageous spectacle I have ever witnessed. Look at yourself.
I understand that I must be shocking to you.
It was
I would
like,
go ahead,
it was like Brando decided for this role, I'm going to go back to my role of Apocalypse Now and just play that as Dr. Moreau.
If you want to know everything about this film that you need to know about the making of it, there is a documentary out there about the making of this film.
There is.
And I don't remember the name of it, but I've seen it, but I can't remember the name of it. It is gold. It is 50 times better than the movie was. Like, the director got fired, but was like sneaking on the set dressed as one of the animal people so that he can mess with people. Val Kilmer and Marlon Brando didn't like each other, so they didn't film any scenes together. When Val Kilmer is imitating Marlon Brando at the end of the film, he was doing it because he was so pissed off at having to work with Brando. Brando didn't want to learn any of his lines. He was wearing an earwig and had somebody reading his lines to him off screen, and he was just reciting the lines as they were being read to him. And at some point, there was a crosswire with a police radio, and he was reading the police report that was coming through the earwig on set. I mean, this is.
He could have been somebody. He could have been a contender.
We should do a recasting of this movie at some point. This movie is awesome. Awesomely bad. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Roach, I was really hyped when this movie came out.
Oh yeah, I read the book too. Jules Verne.
I'm disappointed.
Yeah, there are like 2 or 3 previous versions of the film. There's a black and white one from the 50s, and I think there was another one that was made maybe in like the 60s or 70s that were much better versions of the film, of the book.
Yes.
And then I got a bonus entry here. 2019, the entire cast of Cats.
Memory, all alone in the moonlight.
So, yeah, why don't I just play the trailer for this film? Do I have it on here? I think I have it on here. Hold on. I can't see the movies that I put on here because the thumbnails are so goddamn small.
You see, sometimes I'm good.
That's Catwoman. I'm gonna have to add this one in. I don't think I have it on here. I had a trailer for it, but I don't think it uploaded. So I'll have to add this in post. But yeah, this is a special film. It has Oscar winner Jennifer Hudson, Oscar winner Judi Dench, Oscar nominee Ian McKellen, previously mentioned Idris Elba, and a host of others who must have had no idea what they were getting into.
Well, they thought they were doing Cats.
Yeah, but not this version of it.
I thought they were doing a stage version of Cats.
Taylor Swift's in it too.
All
right. So this brings me to the shout out section here. I was not expecting the outpouring that we got for this. We had over 300 entries between all of our social sites. I obviously can't get to them all. I posted on Threads a couple days ago that I wasn't going to be able to read everybody's. I apologize. I know I said I promised I'd give you shout outs, but just too many names. I'm going to read a few that I picked out because I liked the responses. Either they were a response that I was angry that I didn't think of myself, or it was just something that kind of made me laugh. But I'll read a few of them. And then the rest of the people who contributed, I will be posting a video with your shout out on our YouTube channel. I will try to read as many as I can here, but we're not going to be able to get to everybody, so I apologize. Fast Food Horror Show Podcast on Twitter said Chris Hemsworth in the Ghostbusters reboot 2016, which I think is a really good one. Stellar Future Radio Podcast on Twitter. This is definitely a joke, but it made me laugh. He wrote, "Does Fabio count from Dude, Where's My Car?" Okay, this is where we hit the big time here, because on Threads we had 282 individual responses to the question. So shout out to Basted, to Lance Oten, to Chuck Pal 82, to Sensei Dave Beer, who wrote Bruce Willis and Hudson Hawk, which I mentioned earlier is one of my favorite films. I'm going to defend that one.
Yeah,
shout out to Emma Pants 42, I Am Gruten. Kellen Quigley, Pup Winnie, the Gregorio art, Lear Chris, Lots Photo, and Gary McGurtry, 85, who was the one who said Ben Kingsley in 89% of his roles. He gave us Prince of Persia, Blood Rain, The Love Guru, The Dictator, Exodus, just to name a few. You don't know Jill on Threads. Deadlights on Threads wrote Leonardo DiCaprio and J. Edgar. Just a bad film. Here's a good one, Kev. You'll like this one. Jay Skierka on Threads said the entire cast of movie 43.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
The entire cast. Also, shout out to Possum Country, Jay Tessier 1126, Paul Rube, who gave us Street Smart with Morgan Freeman, Asher B House, JPK 382, Owen Carley 17, Harsh Menon, who said Ben Affleck and Daredevil. Well, that's arguative because some people don't consider Ben Affleck a great actor either. So, Amy Dressler writes, I Heart Buster K82, who wrote Alan Rickman and Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. Wholeheartedly agree with that one.
Well, then you would also have to go with Morgan Freeman.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. Buttonwood Brad, thank you for a shout out. This is a Soluism on Threads, wrote Tug Speedman and Happy Jack. That's a reference to the Ben Stiller character from the Tropic Thunder film. Thank you to Buttonwood Brad, Maher Music, Pedantic Dumbass, who wrote John Voight and Anaconda. If you didn't write this movie down as your answer, it's obvious you haven't seen it. To Indy Nathan, Bobby, Rand and Tilly, Ackerman Kathy, DB Ledge 78, who said Forrest Whitaker and Battlefield Earth. Yes.
Definitely.
JM Scroll, It's Professor K, Terrence R. Bowman, Mr. Young 5904, Mark Wally, who said Matt Smith should only be allowed to do TV projects and stay away from films. I assume he's talking about Morbius. Fun Bernal, Velas Photos, Mark Heathenbox, The Power Brooklyn, Tom or Tom, who wrote, anyone else not mention snakes on a plane?
How many motherfucking snakes are on the plane?
Motherfucking plane. I assume he's talking about Sam and Jake Jackson. Boogie Down Bastard, thank you for a shout out. Tom Bradley, 1964. C.P. Dillon Jr., Clark Johnson, Mr. Mitzelplix, Derek Needler, Red Stick Rick on Thread said, it says it all, but you also have to think, you sometimes have to start somewhere. He gives us Renee Zellweger and Matthew McConaughey, who shared their film premiere in Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. Thank you to Dean Machine, Neil Brass Frog, Meow Meow Computers, Omo Zorm, Lago Strouder, Daniel Price 007, and Brick Basement. The newest rant gave us Christopher Walken and the Country Bears. Also, Christopher Walken and Kangaroo Jack. The man makes many animal enemies. Barry 1776 and Spence Theory. Kev says Tom Hanks and Joe versus the volcano.
No, no, don't diss Joe. I agree. Tom Hanks in certain movies, but not Joe versus a volcano.
Thank you to the Formal Review Podcast for shouting us out with De Niro. Give the Stupid History Minute. Sean Faust on Twitter, who also hates Al Pacino and Jack and Jill. And that's about it. It's all we really have time for in terms of like shout outs because there's so many of them. The rest I will be posting on the YouTube channel when we produce this video. Thank you to everybody for your shout outs. I'm sorry I couldn't get to everybody tonight. Again, don't forget that after the show is over, we are going to play the first of one of our new theme song choices, and we ask you, the listeners, to help us decide which theme song is best. So we're going to be doing a new one every week until we get through them all and we figure out which one everybody likes. Mike, do you have any beer trivia or history for us this evening?
I do. I have some beer history. Englishman Daniel Wheeler invented the drum roaster in 1817, which allowed brewers to produce black patent malt. Porters and stouts brewed with this ingredient were called black beers, while brown ales referred to those brewed without the black patent malt. Pale ales soon overshadowed them both, but Newcastle breweries in Scotland revived brown ale in 1927 with Newcastle Brown. It is still produced today. There's some history for you.
All right. And our cinema quote of the week comes from the great James Bond actor Roger Moore.
When I went to Hollywood, I had to work out in a gym. The idea was that I should look like Daniel Craig, though they hadn't ever even heard of him at that point. Roger
I'm
Moore.
assuming that was Roger Moore's reaction to Daniel Craig walking out of the water in his first James Bond film.
Yes.
How were our drinks this evening, gentlemen?
They were
quite
good.
tasty.
I like a good citrusy beverage. Cape May did it right. I would really like them to do a summer variety pack as opposed to having me purchase several small packs of each of their summer flavors. But I'll put that on a comment card. Comments and suggestions. I'm sure they'll listen to it.
Yeah.
I am ready for the fall flavors. I'll be looking to fill my fridge with them. But my drinks were good.
I enjoyed my Chat GPT AI created mixed drink. I'm going to have to consult Chat GPT in the future and see what they come up with for me. We have a big announcement here. We are going to be taking 1 week off here because school year is starting. Kevin and I are both teachers, and we got a lot going on that first week of school, so we're going to take a little bit of time to get ready. We'll be coming back later in September with a brand new episode, and on that brand new episode, we're going to be joined by YouTube star Cthulhu Jack, the man behind the Cthulhu Jack YouTube channel, which has gained a lot of popularity in the last few months. He's going to be coming on the show as a guest. We are really looking forward to it. We hope you join us for that episode. Again, thank you for joining us tonight for episode 163. We hope you enjoyed listening to the podcast as much as we enjoyed recording it for you. Don't forget to shoot us an email at filmsandfermentation@gmail.com or visit one of our social sites. You can find all of our podcast platforms and sites at linktree.com/filmsandfermentation. We're also on the Den, the Deluxe Edition Network. You can go to deluxeeditionnetwork.com to find out more information. And again, stay to the end, listen to our theme song, and tell us what you think of it. Help us vote on the new one. Don't forget again to stop by the crossroads between pickled and fermented for episode 164. We're going to be returning to another recurring segment, Movies That Time Forgot. We're doing this again because of, as I said, our special guest, YouTube superstar Cthulhu Jack, will be joining us for that episode, which will drop on Tuesday, September 17th. I'm Leo.
I'm Kevin.
I'm Mike.
This has been the Films and Fermentation Podcast. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
Cheers.
And here is theme song choice number 1.
Films and fermentation, movies and inebriation. Films and fermentation, comedy mixed with tasty libations. Films and fermentation, with Leo, Kevin, and Mike. Films and fermentation, movies and inebriation. Films and fermentation, comedy mixed with tasty libations. Films and fermentation, with Leo, Kevin, and Mike.
That reminds me of Clue. So let us know what you think, everybody. Thanks again for listening. We'll talk to you next time.